On a freezing night in 1661, in a Scottish town whose records no longer remember her name, a woman was forced to stand. Not in a cell, not in chains, just standing. She was not allowed to sit, she was not allowed to sleep, and she was told that if she closed her eyes, even for a moment, she would die. This was not punishment, this was calibration. By the seventh night, her legs shook uncontrollably. By the seventh morning, time no longer behaved correctly. Minutes stretched, voices repeated themselves. Her own name sounded unfamiliar when she tried to think it. She did not confess because she was guilty. She confessed because her body could no longer protect the truth. She admitted to crimes she had never committed, to meetings she had never attended, to a devil she had never seen. The confession was written down, signed, filed, and when she finished speaking, the men watching her did not react. They did not argue. They did not celebrate. They nodded. Because by 1661, Scotland was no longer asking whether witches existed. It was asking how many could be processed before winter ended and the prisons filled faster than the graves. What you are about to hear is not folklore. It is not superstition. It is not madness. It is what happens when fear is given paperwork, when panic is trained to speak in legal language, when torture learns how to call itself procedure. Welcome to the lost past, not where history is remembered, but where it repeats itself quietly. Tonight we enter one of the fastest and deadliest moral collapses in European history, the Great Scottish Witch Hunt of 1661 to 1662. A nationwide panic that did not spread by rumor, but by court order, that did not burn people in secret, but documented them in daylight, that executed hundreds, and proved something far more dangerous than superstition. Once fear becomes law, it no longer needs witches to survive. It only needs citizens who are willing to call obedience justice. And history shows it rarely struggles to find them. And once it begins, it does not stop itself. Scotland before the fire. Scotland in the early 1660s was already fractured. Civil war had ripped Britain apart. A king had been executed in public. Cromwell's soldiers had marched through Scottish towns like occupiers, not allies. Families were ruined, trade collapsed, church authority shattered, and then returned, bitter. When Charles II reclaimed the throne in 1660, Scotland did not celebrate. It held its breath. Because restoration did not mean forgiveness, it meant judgment. Scotland was deeply Calvinist, a belief system that rejected coincidence. In this world, nothing was accidental. A failed harvest was not weather, it was a warning. Disease was not illness, it was guilt. Political chaos was not human error, it was divine punishment. And when suffering had no visible cause, the conclusion became inevitable. Someone among them was working for the devil. The law that turned fear into a machine. Scotland already had blood written into its laws. The Witchcraft Act of 1563 declared witchcraft a capital crime. Not suspicion, not proof, death. For decades, enforcement had been inconsistent. Then came 1661. Local courts regained authority. Church sessions became aggressive. Ministers, judges, and magistrates aligned. And the moment fear received legal permission, it multiplied. Because in Scotland, witchcraft was never believed to be isolated. It was contagious. If one witch existed, others must have helped her. If one confessed, others were named. The system did not seek truth, it sought growth. How an accusation began. No accusation began in court. It began in silence. A cow collapsed in the field. Milk spoiled overnight. A child developed fever. Someone remembered an argument, a refusal, a sharp look that lasted too long. A woman who didn't attend church often enough. A neighbor who prayed differently. A widow who lived alone. And suddenly a name existed. The accused almost always shared the same profile. Elderly, female widowed, poor healers, or simply disliked. In small communities, unpopularity became evidence. Once accused, innocence was irrelevant. Only procedure remained. Torture without chains. Scotland rarely used racks or irons. It used something far more effective: sleep deprivation. The accused were forced to stand for days, sometimes more than a week. They were watched constantly, prodded when they swayed, struck when they slumped. No sleep, no silence, no darkness. Cold consumed the body. Hunger hollowed the mind. By the fourth day, memory fractured. By the sixth, hallucinations appeared. By the seventh, reality collapsed entirely. And then came the confession, not because it was true, but because the human brain, when broken, will invent anything to survive. Confessions that spread like infection. Once extracted, a confession became fact. The accused admitted to signing the devil's book meeting, Satan in animal form, flying through the night, cursing livestock, attending secret gatherings. But the most dangerous demand came last. Name others. Every name produced another arrest. Every arrest produced another confession. Fear became self-sustaining. Entire villages collapsed inward. Neighbors accusing neighbors. Families disintegrating. Trust evaporating. Historians estimate that hundreds, possibly over 1,000, people were accused in just 2 years. Scotland was devouring itself. Death as a public lesson. Conviction led to one outcome, execution. Most were strangled first, considered mercy, then burned. The fire mattered. It purified. It erased. It warned. Executions were public. Children watched. Ministers preached sermons during the deaths. The message was unmistakable. Fear God or become an example. Why Scotland went further than anyone else. Witch hunts existed across Europe, but Scotland was different. It combined extreme religious absolutism, decentralized legal authority, community-driven accusations, and a belief that confession equaled truth. No central power stopped the spread. Each region escalated independently, almost competitively. By the time officials realized what was happening, the kingdom was already soaked in ash. When the panic collapsed, by late 1662, cracks appeared. Confessions contradicted one another. Accused witches recanted. Patterns of forced admissions became impossible to ignore. Central authorities intervened. Quietly, no apologies, no announcements. Executions slowed, and then stopped. Not because innocence was recognized, but because the machine had exhausted itself. Silence after. There were no memorials, no compensation, no justice. Records were buried, stories faded. The victims became footnotes. Scotland moved on. The damage did not. Why this still matters. This story is not about magic. It is about panic. About what happens when fear becomes moral duty. When belief replaces evidence. When ordinary people become executioners, convinced they are righteous. History does not repeat itself, but it recognizes opportunity, and it always waits for fear. Cognitive aftershock. Hundreds died, thousands lived in terror, and an entire kingdom learned too late that certainty can be deadlier than doubt. This was not superstition. This was organized fear, and this is the lost past. If this story unsettled you, it should have, because the most dangerous witch hunts are never about witches. They are about us. Subscribe to The Lost Past for the histories buried beneath silence and the warnings we ignore at our own risk.